On this episode of ResiWeek, we talk coronavirus affecting shipping, 8K Premier League games, the Surge X Squid, and Black Wire's Guardian leak prevention. All this and more on this episode of ResiWeek.
The network for the AV industry.
What are you listening to?
This
is AV.
This
is AVNation.
This is AVNation.
This is ResiWeek episode 213, Don't Be Obsolete.
Support for AVNation is brought to you by Access Networks and by
Draper, focused on innovative solutions.
Welcome to ResiWeek. This is your weekly roundup of all the latest news and stories for the residential AV industry. I'm your host, Matt D. Scott for AVNation.tv, and this week I am pleased to be joined by two of my longtime friends. First, we have Louis Frank. He is the owner of LED Systems. How are you, sir?
Great. How are you?
Doing great. Thank you for asking. Then we have Ron Callis. He is the CEO of One Firefly. How are you?
I'm good, sir. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. Gentlemen, we are going to start off the show with the story that won't die. Can I make that? Yeah.
That's a terrible pun.
Isn't it, though? It's the story that won't die. The global CE supply chain is going to slow due to the coronavirus outbreak. This comes to us from CE Pro. And just a minor aside, I don't think I'm alone in this. I'm guessing you guys are or experienced this as we went to talk about this story. The new pop-up on the CE Pro website, good God, it is annoying. I don't know. Hopefully someone's listening. Right? I'm not the only one.
I was trying to find a store. I was actually just there. What is today? Today's Monday. So I was just late last week on the site trying to do research. I want to say it was around the upcoming CE Pro Awards.
Yeah.
Because those are due in April.
Yes.
For submissions. And so I was there trying to find out about some of those awards, and my God, I couldn't get to the page unless you completed the pop-up. I wanted to throw a shoe at my screen. It was very frustrating.
There's a reason many people don't read Washington Post or New York Times beyond one article a month because they have the stupid pop-ups. This is the same bloody problem. If anyone happens to be listening from CE Pro, and I'm going to send an email or two, but please change that. Good
You
God.
couldn't get around it. Like
No,
normally,
Not at all.
If you don't fill it out, you're not going anywhere.
it was really interesting. As the marketer, I mean, I'm in the world of pop-ups and, list building and all that jazz. I get it. But to alienate an entire industry and not let them through the gates unless you give them your contact information, that was bold.
They sent me to every article but what I wanted.
It's a bold move, Cotton. Bold move. All right. Now that we covered that, let's dive in real quick. If you haven't been following this, LG pulled out of ISE. We're seeing a whole lot of rumors, so we say, that shipping is going to be delayed, that even if your main supplier is not affected by this and does not have their ports shut down because of this virus outbreak, that some of their suppliers most likely are. In this article, I was actually really impressed that they were able to get someone on the record, in this case, Nortec, talking about the supply chain issues that this is going to have. And our industry is not immune from this. We're not the only ones dealing with this. Louis, I want to start with you on this. I'm assuming that your company is a lot like my company, where you deal with projects for the most part in an on-demand situation. You don't warehouse much.
No. Yeah, you're right. I don't.
Looking at the outcomes, I saw from one of the bulb manufacturers for stage lighting that in the US, they have a 3-week supply left. And this was last week. And then they are going to be out. They're trying to bring stuff in from Europe because they're running low on bulbs. This is going to hit our industry real quick. What can we do as business owners to either prepare ourselves or prepare our clients for the potential interruption of supply?
I have not experienced it, and the shortage. I order on demand. I mean, when the client wants 80 grand worth of stuff, they're going to give me a check for the equipment, and I'm going to purchase it. And like you, I don't inventory $100,000 worth of stuff. I have not, honestly though, I have not changed a light bulb in a projector in probably 2 years because I freaking went to laser. It was a little more expensive, so I don't have that issue. Surge protectors, cables, things like that. I still haven't noticed a problem, but I do know on a project that's coming up where we have 12 TVs, I told the client, look, with everything going on, shipping being a problem, I need you to order your TVs right now. So, because I know I got them in stock, and if you want them by the time the project starts, we've got to have those now.
I will say that's the other big kicker that I keep hearing. And again, it's all hyperbole at this point, but that, TVs, if that container doesn't leave in a month, you're going to be short that container.
Yep.
Ron, is this and again, I'm well aware that this is not an industry specific problem. I know we're not the only ones going to be dealing with this. If Lewis can't get his TVs, neither can Best Buy. It's going to be that big of an issue if it happens. But does this hint towards a bigger problem with the current HTP model of on demand, or is it just a nature of how we have developed doing business?
That's an excellent question. I think the marketer in me simply wants to tell you and the audience the best thing we can all do is communicate openly, honestly, transparently with our customers. And the good news is, let's say, unlike the trade issues with China, where maybe the effect to the consumer, your consumer, was a little less directly linked, it was a little hard to exactly track. Everybody on planet Earth today is hearing every other piece of media on radio and TV talking about the coronavirus. There are no surprises here. And so I think simply leading and getting in front of the issue, it could affect your customers. I think Lewis's idea to communicate with customers and say, I need you to place your orders now, not typically in the timeline when we would say historically have you place that deposit and I would place that order. Let's try to get ahead of this. I think that's a brilliant idea. And I think it's just the nature of the beast. I mean, big picture, I think our economy is strong. I think our industry is strong. I think we're poised for fantastic growth. I loved the story in CE Pro just in the past week from Tim Costello talking about the demographic millennial wave coming through society over the next 25 years. I think America is poised for exceptional growth. This is definitely a blip on the radar, and this needs to be dealt with. It is real. It does have the potential to affect us economically in our businesses today, and we need to be eyes wide open in terms of preparing for that. Stating what I know both of you gentlemen know, if the media simply gave as much coverage to the common flu as they are to this, I mean, everyone would think the world's been on fire for the last 10 centuries. This is the new thing. It is serious. I'm not making light of it, but I would venture to say it might be a little less bad than maybe the media is making it out to be, but I'm not a doctor. This is not professional advice.
No,
Matt, can I say something else real quick?
Yeah.
I talked to my customer just what was just said, and they are not feeling a crunch, and the money's still there to spend. They still have money, and they still need technology. And as long as, like you said, stay in front of it, they're going to spend the money if you can meet the expectations, and they're okay with those expectations if you're straight with them up front.
Yeah, I think that's always the biggest takeaway is communication is key.
I would also add, Matt, the stock market, at least here in the U.S., was ripe for a correction.
Yeah.
This is a really good excuse for a correction. And, I don't have the feelings that and the tea leaves that I'm reading to indicate that this is now, the beginning of the end for our economy. I think it's It's going to hurt a little bit, rightfully so. Global supply is affected, but we just got to troop through it, and the strong survive.
I think it's, again, like anything, stuff happens. Just pay attention to it, communicate, and keep moving. Hey, thanks for watching the first segment of this week's episode. To catch the entire show, please click the link below or visit avnation.tv. That's avnation.tv.